So exactly a month ago, the firsts are not turning out to be very lucky for the markets. We had seen that 8,000 on October 1st, and we are seeing it yet again on November 1st, or rather 2nd to be precise. And the stocks that have fallen in the last hour itself have largely been the commodity stocks. Hindalco, Vedanta, Kane are the three stocks that have fallen. And much to my personal disappointment, even good stocks like HDFC, ICICI Bank, and even for that matter SBI have been the other drags on the market. But otherwise it's really commodity driven. GAIL, Hindalco, Kane, Vedanta, Reliance are the ones that have dropped the most.
You know, Lata, just one thing I want to point out, that the volumes are extremely low. Even currently it's only around 90,000 crores. The total volumes currently that we're trading. Yes, we're at the low point of the day. Yes, we breached 8,000 mark. But keep an eye out on the volumes. I think we should have that chart up for you as well. Currently only around 88,000 approximately. But let's get in then an expert. We have Jagdish Malkani who joins us currently. Hi Jagdish, thanks so much for joining us. Not looking too good. Just last Monday morning, we were sitting at around that 8,330. Now back to around 8,000 odd. What's going on? Is it the BR election outcome that's weighing on the market?
Yeah, I would say that's the primary reason, and of course very weak Asian markets. And it does look, the last couple of sessions after a very salutary October, FIs, were back in selling mode. Especially, I think it was Thursday was a big one, which of course could largely be FNO type of movement. But anyway, I would imagine largely it's the Bihar stuff looming over. That it's probably not going to go the government's way.
Okay, actually, therefore, what kind of lows, Jagdish? Do you think we pierced the 575 mark, which held as a support, or do you think we don't even go that far? That we have to battle even 7.9, and that itself might be a support. After all, you've got domestic liquidity.
Yeah, I do 7.5 and all. I would be extremely surprised and disappointed by. I mean, it's not. We're still. All the good news is still out there, and even today, the government has talked about stepping up reform after the polling officially closes on the 5th, and we're still looking good out in the, at least compared to our emerging market peers. And those wretched green shoots that we've been waiting for look like little popping out of the ground finally. So I think the doom and gloom shouldn't be overdone. But yeah, it will be a setback if the result does go a little adverse. But I would still feel our markets have a lot of strength and virility. And even though, yes, L&T, of course, results have been dismal and all that, but it's all in the price.
All right. Thanks so much, Jagdish, for joining in. In fact, Jagdish made that point, Lata, about institutions selling, the FI selling. For the month of October, DIs were net sellers for the first time since January 2015. Yeah, so it's not been that great, and that's taking into account the 1,500 crores that they bought in Friday's trading session, yet they were net sellers for the month itself. But
no, for the year, actually, FIs have bought all of, 4 billion.
Yeah.
And last year it was 15 billion. So, I mean, one knows that tap has not been very generous.
That's true. And if the DIs are selling as well, it doesn't hold too well. But let's get an expert then. We have Devin Chowksy as well who joins in. Hi, Devin. Thanks so much for joining in today. What's going on? 330 points from last week's peak. BR election fears, are they getting overdone, or what's your take?
Well, good afternoon. Certainly, I think there has been, an overhang of the BR election and the outcome coming up on the coming Sunday. And at the same time, the people are refraining from taking further positions in the market. We have seen in last few trading sessions the selling coming in from the FIs as well. So all of them put together is now resulting into the fall into the market. But as I see it in perspective, if I had to put across the numbers, I think 7,500 to 8,300 journey of Nifty, I think had to have some amount of consolidation. And we have been, expecting this, that the market would consolidate in the band of 79.50 to 83.50. So probably, for whatever reasons, the market has gone into this kind of a correction called consolidation at this point of time. I'm not seeing many fundamental negatives happening or emerging into the situation. And thus, I would like to be confident about that the things could possibly turn out to be better once the BR election outcome is positive for the current government of NDA.
So you're a buyer at current levels, or and if you're buying, what?
Individual stocks, yes, I think that I'm definitely keeping an eye on buying them. Falling prices in large sums definitely I think is attracting me enough. At the same time, I think there are many large cap companies which are available in the auto space, particularly I think where the correction is giving the opportunity. And even the NBFC stroke housing finance companies, the companies with the insurance business in their fold, is something which we recommend to add into the portfolio during the current fall.
All right, Deven, but the results of Titan and the likes haven't been great, but I'm quite happy to see that Titan has recovered close to around 7% from the low point of the day. So that's one of the positives. We got a positive number coming from OBC as well. Will you be looking at select banking stocks, select outperformers, select stocks that have given good results?
Yes, I think that's the point. The select stocks will have to be looked into. And as I was making a point within the BFSI space, particularly we have been finding more comfort with some of the NBFC companies. And we continue to remain relatively more strong on those companies vis-a-vis the banks at this point of time. In private sectors, yes, we like the banks businesses, but the fact is that the corrective downside is becoming an opportunity to buy into some of them. So at least, yes, I think we're keeping a very selective approach on buying into the banking space.
All right, Deven, we leave it at that. It's positive to hear that you don't expect too much by way of downsides and that you will be using this correction to buy at least otherwise good pedigree stocks, some banking stocks, L&T for instance, and even Mahindra & Mahindra appears to have come out of its long night after that positive October passenger vehicle sales, not tractor sales. Markets still at the lowest point of the day, but 8,000 acted as a bit of a buffer, a bit of a bouncing pad, and the markets are now at 8,008. Let's see whether that absorbs all the bad news. We've not got great global cues today, and the domestic cues by way of results have not been very positive. But you will have to say that today's numbers, in terms of at least the OBC numbers, and a couple of, well,
Titan
the Maruti numbers,
7% from the low point of the
exactly, are all indicating that bad news appears to have been priced in, or so the market thinks, and there is an incremental good news here and there. We'll wrap up on that cautiously positive note on Halftime Report.